If swimmers want to go fast, they don't just need to create a lot of propulsion, they have to be able to create a lot of propulsion fast. Hi everyone, Andrew here, helping you help your swimmers get faster. And in this video, we're going to talk about how to help swimmers learn to create more propulsion in less time. Let's dive in. More propulsion, more speed. And so to go fast, swimmers have to create a lot of propulsion. They have to create more propulsion per stroke, but they also have to create more propulsion in less time. So if they can create a ton of propulsion with each stroke, but their stroke cycle takes 2 seconds, they're not going to swim fast. They're creating a lot of propulsion, but they also have to create a lot of propulsion fast. And so to do so, they have to reorganize the stroke. They have to set up the stroke faster. They have to reduce the non-propulsive phases like the arm recovery and the setup of the stroke, and they have to do so in a way that doesn't impact propulsion. And so what happens is a lot of swimmers, when they try to go fast, they try to move their arms faster. What they do is they shorten the wrong parts of the pull. They end up taking just as much time to set up the stroke, and then they just rush the propulsive phase, and they miss out on all that propulsion. Sure, they move their arms faster, but they're not going to necessarily swim faster because they're not learning how to create more propulsion in less time. So what's the challenge of helping swimmers learn to do so? Well, resisted swimming is great for creating more propulsion. It's a really effective tool, and it can be really powerful for helping swimmers learn how to get more out of each stroke. However, it tends to slow the stroke rate down. It allows swimmers more time to create propulsion, which is effective for helping them create more propulsion, but it's not effective for helping them to create more propulsion fast. So for resistance, which is typically useful for helping swimmers create more propulsion, isn't necessarily going to be helpful if we need swimmers to create more propulsion in less time. Instruction also tends to be not particularly effective. When swimmers are trying to create more propulsion in less time, it's happening really fast, and if they're thinking about it, they're really trying to consciously control their movements, they end up getting in their own way and either just messing up whatever they're trying to do, or by thinking about it, they tend to naturally slow it down, which is also not what we want. Instruction is also not particularly effective because swimmers are changing the how, not necessarily the what. So they're not necessarily trying to execute different arm paths, they're just trying to do the same thing in less time with more precision. So there aren't necessarily a whole lot of effective instructions other than telling them to do it faster. But they already know they need to do it faster, they just struggle to actually do that. So with all skills, learning comes down to effective practice. And the more effective practice swimmers can get, the faster they're typically going to improve. The challenge in helping swimmers create propulsion faster is that it requires fast swimming. But fast swimming is fatiguing, and so it can be difficult to get a lot of practice at speed simply because performing that much fast swimming can be really fatiguing. It's certainly possible if you set things up right and you give them lots of rest. However, sometimes you want to get things done even faster, or you simply don't have the amount of time that you'd like and you want to get more repetitions in with less fatigue. The solution? Going fast with fins. So when swimmers are wearing fins, they're moving through the water faster. That means their arms are interacting with the water faster. So they have to be more effective in repositioning the arm in order to create more propulsion. And because the speeds are higher and because there's less time to execute correctly, mistakes are going to be a lot more obvious. And that's a good thing because the more obvious swimmers' mistakes are, the faster they're going to be able to learn. They need to be aware of them in order to change them. Another cool thing with fins is that more propulsion is coming from the legs, and so that means there's going to be less pressure on the arms, and that makes it even harder to feel what's happening with the arms. So they have less awareness of what their arms are feeling because they're moving fast and because there's less pressure on the water due to the leg kick. So that's going to increase the challenge. Fortunately though, with time, that feel is going to come back. They're going to get used to executing their arm actions at faster speeds and with that extra leg drive. And then when they go back to regular swimming, even at really high speeds, it's going to feel like they're moving in slow motion. And again, that's a really good thing because it's going to feel like they have all the time in the world to execute their skills when before they felt like they didn't have any time to execute their skills. And lastly, by wearing fins, they're going to get more practice swimming really fast with the same or less effort. The more practice they get, the faster they're going to improve. So going fast with fins creates a novel learning environment where swimmers are better able to figure out how to swim fast and how to create a lot of propulsion at high speeds. And they get more practice in that environment, which is also going to accelerate their progress. So for those reasons, going fast with fins is a really powerful strategy for helping swimmers learn how to create more propulsion in less time. While simply going fast with fins is going to be effective in and of itself, we can do better, we can make it even more effective. And so the first strategy is just to have swimmers go fast. But then you can have them go fast and add stroke counts. You can have them go fast and add stroke rates. You can definitely do it with drills. You can do it with different hand postures like closed fist or OK sign or horns or single finger. You can even have them hold a golf ball, hold a tennis ball, hold a lacrosse ball. You can have them wear paddles. You can have them hold paddles upside down or pinch paddles, all different hand postures, which are going to help swimmers learn to interact with the water more effectively. You can also contrast work with fins with resisted work and normal swimming, which is going to create even more novel challenges. So by using fins to create an overspeed environment, you can help them learn how to create more propulsion in less time. So here are two sets that you can use as starting points to help swimmers learn to create propulsion fast with fins. So the first set, they're going to go 4 rounds through. They're going to go 50 at 200 stroke rate as fast as possible, 325s at 100 stroke rate as fast as possible, and then a 25 fast. So the idea here is that they're going at race stroke rates, but they're going to be swimming a lot faster than race speed because of the fins, and so they have to learn how to create propulsion at those faster speeds. And because they're trying to go as fast as possible and they can't take faster strokes, they have to be more effective with each stroke. So that means setting up the stroke quickly, setting up the stroke effectively, and creating a lot of propulsion in not a lot of time. We're going to keep the dolphin kick number relatively low here, simply because the focus is on the upper body and swimming on the surface. We don't want to spend the whole time underwater. That kind of defeats the purpose. Next set is 3 rounds through. It's a little bit more of a controlled speed set. So they're going to go 25 at 100 speed, as few strokes as possible, 25 at 50 speed, as few strokes as possible, and 25 fast. And then they're going to go 25 at 100 speed as easy as possible, 25 at 50 speed as easy as possible, 25 fast. So they're learning how to be really efficient with each stroke, really effective with each stroke, even though they're swimming pretty fast. So in the first half of the set, they're trying to get more out of each stroke. In the second half of the set, they're trying to swim as easy as possible while still swimming relatively fast. So in both cases, in both sets, swimmers are going to have to interact with the water quickly because of the fins and because they're swimming fast. And in order to hit the speeds, in order to create as much speed as possible, they have to be effective with each stroke. They have to create a lot of propulsion, and they have to create it fast. And ultimately, that's why using fins is so effective. Hope that was helpful, and as always, keep it simple.